Happy St. Patrick's Day, BookTube. Welcome to the History Shelf. My name is Peg. This is a bow run. A bow run. It is a Irish. This is Martine's. It's an Irish instrument, as you can see. Whoop! Wait. Woo! And Well, I'm kind of stepping in. I was going to have Martine in for this video. Basically, this is a celebration of St. Patrick's Day through, I pulled a bunch of different books from my library to show you. We've pulled some books from her library. And I'm going to try to represent all of them for both of us. Martine wanted to be in this video. I certainly wanted her to be in this video. My partner is 100% Irish, born and raised in Dublin, Ireland. So, gosh, it would, kind of missing her in this video, but she had a death in the family, so she's just kind of not up to being not too happy right now. So we're all supporting Martine. Please send her your prayers and well wishes, and yeah. So we're just kind of dealing with that right now. But I am wearing her sweatshirt. We got Trinity College Dublin. Nice, got the green going here on St. Patrick's Day. So I've got a stack of different books. If you're interested in Irish or learning more about Irish history, we've got some literature in here. We've even got a movie recommendation. Martine just handed me a stack of stuff from her bookshelf. She's like, tell people about these. And I was like, okay. And she sent me a couple of texts so I can speak through some of these things. But, yeah, so let's just dive in. I hope, what are you guys doing on St. Patrick's Day? Tell us in the comments below. We'd love to know. We currently have a live stream going on YouTube of this, the Temple Bar in Dublin going, and we're just watching people there in Dublin because they're 7 hours ahead. They're all partying down there, and it's just really fun just to kind of, it'd be more fun to be there, but it's as close as we can get, and it's just nice to see people there, and they're waving at the camera, and it's just like waving back. Hi Dublin. One of these days we'll get there. All right, well, let's just kick into some of the things. Let's see, what should we start with? Let's start with this neat little book Martine wanted me to include. This is, oh wow. I don't have a lot of the history on this. I'm just going to show it. This was printed by the Irish Genealogical Foundation from Kansas City, Missouri. This is Keating's History of Ireland. Look at this beautiful book, embossed, gold embossed. It's a very slim volume. And the original typeset here. It's translated from the Irish, from the original Gaelic, and copiously annotated by John O'Mahony. But this is the history of Ireland from the earliest period to the English invasion. And that's how they feel about it. And obviously, the English did invade. So, but yes, that is definitely, it kind of makes you aware of how they feel about that. And I totally get it. Let's see here. I'll just show you some of the, it has a list of ancient pedigrees, history, and legend. I think she told me about this book is that you can find your family in this one. The location of your family name in Ireland. As a rule, Irish families have remained on or near their hereditary lands for centuries. Okay, apart from the large cities such as Dublin, which have attracted individuals throughout Ireland, the population has remained relatively intransient. Okay, hang on. I want to make sure I am representing her. I don't know if she wants me to say her last name or not. Well, no, it's in the comments. Hang on a second. Okay, we're back. Yes, Martine. Her family name O'Keefe. They actually come from County Kerry and County Cork, the counties in the south. So her family at some point just moved on up to Dublin. So that's neat to know. And she showed me where County Cork and County Kerry are, but they, this is like definitely a genealogical thing. She says she believes this was meant to be like a census of sorts. But and my grandmother had a very Irish. She was Irish. I was Irish. And Martine could break down the last name, which was McMonagall, to say that means that her family sprung from Donegal, the Donegal area, which is in the north. So it's just so fascinating. But yes, it's just basically a nice compendium of the pedigrees of the names. It's definitely like a census. It's got genealogy stuff in here. Chapter 4, topographical appendix. It's just really neat, and it's just very tiny type. But hey, for St. Patrick's Day, I wanted to show you this. Let's see. We also have books on, this is from Martine's library as well, a little paperback that, this actually has the pence, the pricing on it, the back of the book, 10 pence, 50 pence, something like that. The Mercier Press, Bridge Street, Cork. This is a little volume called Irish Sagas, edited by Miles Dillon. These are all the books she had when she was growing up in Ireland. I'm so just privileged to be able to show these things. Just covering the poetry and legend of the heroic sagas of the Celtic society from the 8th century onward. So we have the Ulster cycle of heroic tales of great warriors, the Fenian cycle of inspiring noble youth, and the Kingly cycle, in which some historical figures have been vested with the immortality of legend. Oh, how neat. So it's Irish Sagas, edited by Miles Dillon. Okay, what else did she give me here? Oh, this is so neat. Oh, and well, of course you can't. You gotta have a James Joyce copy of Dubliners, right? This is her Penguin Classics. You see the color there. It's a beautiful cover, beautiful photograph. I have not read the Dubliners, and I have a huge book somewhere of of Ulysses, but I have not taken on that. I've not taken on James Joyce. If I had Martine here, I'd ask her if she read this or enjoyed it. But we've got Dubliners. Let's see here. What else did she give me? Oh, she has a story behind this one. This is an Irish writer, and this is she said people would be jealous to see this edition because it's so rare. This is Anne McCaffrey's book called Dragonflight. Okay, and it's from a publisher called Corgi, Sci-Fi Collectors Library. As you can see, it's seen some love. It's seen some years. Martine said that she when she was sick at one point in Dublin, and she asked her mom to, or her mother reached out to Anne McCaffrey, because I guess back in the day you could just write an author and they would totally be like, yeah, She's like, could you write to my daughter? She loves your books and she's sick right now. And she totally did. And Martine said she had a pen pal with Anne McCaffrey. They were pen pals. Isn't that so cool? And that at one point Anne McCaffrey she would write back even Martine's mom, and Martine's like, I told her to write to you. It's like it's a major author. But so Martine and Anne McCaffrey were pen pals. And this is her beloved book, sci-fi story. So this is, it's just by way of an anecdote, but just to also highlight Anne McCaffrey as part of our, recognition of St. Patty's Day and writers and history and all that good stuff. So yeah, You guys jealous of this edition? This came out, let's see here. Oh, I don't even, ooh, 1970 for the Corgi edition. 1970. Wow. That is very, very delicate. And then, oh, I'll save this for that. She wanted me to share, this is like one of her favorite movies of all time. And it's based off of a book. So she wanted me to show Roddy Doyle, The Commitments. She loves this book, this story, this movie. This is her vintage contemporaries edition. I'll tell you what it's about, though. It says, take a group of fame-starved working-class Irish youths who call themselves the Commitments. Give them a paradoxical passion for the music of Sam Cooke and Otis Redding and a mission to bring soul to Dublin, and you have the makings of one of the most engaging and believable novels about rock and roll ever written, a book whose brashness and originality have won it mainstream acclaim and underground cachet. Roddy Doyle, a young Dubliner, writes about the band with a fan's enthusiasm, about his city with the natives' cheerful knowingness. His book captures all the shadings of the rock experience, ambition, greed, and egotism, and the redeeming, exhilarating joy of making music. Ah, that's lovely. This is only, the book is like 150 pages long. But it's The Commitments, and then she picked up the 25th anniversary edition of the movie, The Commitments, and she loves this movie. I think I watched it with her, but she's probably going to say, no, you have not. I keep trying to get you to watch this movie. I'm just not big with musical films, but I know this is an important one, so I'm going to watch it with her. If anything, just to, get that sense of of Dublin and that whole energy there. Plus, she loves it, and I love her. So I will watch The Commitments with you. Okay. So yeah, The Commitments, and a couple of more things that she gave me, and then I'll move into some of the books from my library stacks. She has a beautiful little small edition of the Book of Kells. Sorry for the dust on that. Oh, very delicate. This is a Studio Editions version. Ooh. It says, ooh, the plates. It says, take a look here. Oh, okay. Plate 1, plate 2. Okay, so it goes throughout all the different plates, and it talks about Eusebius. And it obviously breaks down what each plate means. This one portrays the 4 evangelists. What a beautiful little book, though. So we've got that. And then this is a big book here. She says this was a great series for a while. I think there's 3 books, and she's like, the first 1 or 2 are really good. But this is Vanishing Ireland by James Fennell and Turtle Bunbury. And it's basically a chronicle of a rapidly disappearing world. It's a unique collection of portrait interviews looking at the dying ways and traditions of Irish life, taking us back to an Ireland virtually unrecognizable to today's post-boom generation. With over 100 evocative and stunning photographs, we meet the people and customs that shape the cultural identity of the Irish nation. Through their own words and memories, 54 men and women transport us back to a time when people lived off the land and the sea, when music and storytelling were essential parts of life, when a person was defined by their trade. Oh, fantastic. So let's look at some of these. I'll show you some of these. Make sure I don't drop this. Children of the Field. Oh, wow. Stunning photographs, though. Nice introduction here. I'll try to Children of the Field. Patty Gleason. It's a beautiful book, which is, oh, hello. I think it's one person per page. Or no, Patty gets 2. Okay. Farmers, lots of farmers. Friends. Wow. Born 1919. Joss Donnelly. Kitty Crow, born 1926. She's a singer and community champion. That's so beautiful. These are beautiful photographs. Lots of, I'm trying to find another woman for you. There's a lot of men in here, and that's fine. I mean, that's just, you know, there were lots of farmers, lots of guys living off the land here. Here's the guy in the front, Johnny Hutchinson, a horse coper. I'm not sure what that is, but I guess it's someone who keeps a lot of horses and sells them to. Oh, wow. Patty Canny, Fiddler and Farmer, born 1919. So it's just a lovely book, and she really has a lot of strong feelings for this book. She says this one is just outstanding. Well, Nellie O'Toole, here we go. Born 1908, nurse and housekeeper, Rathvilly, County Carlow in Dublin. Oh, wonderful. I hope we can get back there. I want to, for her and for me, I want to see Ireland. I want to see Dublin and just where she grew up. So, Vanishing Ireland. Thank you, Martine, for these wonderful additions to for this video. And I wish you could have been here with us. There's one more that she gave to me, but I'm going to pair it with one of the, I'll do it with mine right now. So, I wanted to highlight a prominent Irish, well, he was Anglo-Irish, you know, she says, but you can consider him Irish, and that is Oscar Wilde. Now, I picked up the Folio Society hardcover in a bookcase here, but it's De Profundis, Oscar Wilde. It's a really nice edition. Small little read. He penned this he wrote it while he was in prison. For, you know, they had stringent, I just don't even, what was it? I don't like what they called it back then, but basically for like homosexuality, you know. It was a whole scandal, and then he wrote this while he was in prison, and, you know, he really came to have some type of spiritual awakening while in prison, and kind of reflects on his affair or relationship with Bosie. Yeah, I haven't read it yet, but I so many books, a little time. I need to stop getting any more books. It's going to take my lifetime to read what I have. It's got some beautiful pictures in here. Look at that. Now, when you think of Oscar Wilde, of course, and I read this ages ago, and this is Martine's copy of The Portrait of Dorian Gray. Yeah. I read it when this is a Soho Books version. I read this probably when I was 18 or something like that. Sorry. And I'm drinking London Fog tea while I'm doing it. Whoops. I'm doing, an Irish book haul, or, talking all about Irish, and I'm drinking a London Fog tea. But hey, Irish love their tea, and they really make delicious tea. I love Barry's tea and Bewley. There's a couple of other ones out there that I really love. But anyway, Picture of Dorian Gray, pretty standard. I can't remember if I liked it or not. think I was too young to really fully get it, you know, when I was reading it at 17, 18. I wasn't quite clued into all the subtle undertones and stuff like that. But yeah, so we've got some Oscar Wilde here. Oh, and since we're on, I'm going to switch over to history, the history books on my shelf. But before I do, I wanted to show my copy of this because I saw that Bill Rutenberg in one of his last videos, his really big book haul. He had this Louis L'Amour, and I was like, I have this one too, but a different cover. And I just wanted to speak for a moment about Louis L'Amour and how he really recognizes the contribution that Irish immigrants made to this country in building it, especially out west. So here's the Man from Skibbereen. So this is my copy of that, Bill. The Man from Skibbereen. I'm going to try to do this without getting a glare on it. The lighting is weird right now, so my Lord. You get the picture. But yeah, Louis L'Amour was just so, he had so many Irish characters and protagonists in his books, and this is just one. I could have pulled out, there was a couple from the Sackett series. There's Flint, there's Riley's Luck. I'm looking right at him right now. I would say almost half his characters, if not more, have Irish ancestry or an outright Irish name. I think Borden Chantry, I think he started off Irish. Fair Blows the Wind, I believe the founder of the Chantry line was Irish as well. But anyway, what I'm saying is Louis L'Amour just, I loved how he just gave mad props to the Irish. And so I wanted to include The Man from Skibbereen. And because this novel is about Crispin Mayo. Crispin Mayo was a stranger to the law of the gun. He had come west from Ireland to seek his fortune, one man with nothing but his fists to protect him. Was he tough enough to tangle with a cutthroat band of renegades? It was none of his business until the desperate plea of a pert little lady made him want to find out. All right. Oh, yes. I love having all my Louis L'Amours back with me again. So, The Man from Skibbereen. Okay, so that was kind of a neat little assortment of a variety of different books. And you know what? We still have more. We have several more of like Irish, folk stories, Celtic legends and lore and all this kind of stuff. So we have more of those, but let's see, along this lines, let me get into this. I showed this book recently. I don't say recently, last year sometime. It was after I think Yale University Press had a sale going on, and I picked this one up. I'm only about 30 pages in, but I kind of dip in and out of it, but I'm enjoying it. And this is Blood and Mistletoe, the history of the Druids in Britain. Obviously, it was a Celtic practice, religion there for many centuries. And I don't know a lot about the Druids, and I kind of want to know more. So I have started this, and it is, while it's accessible, but it is, you have to really be focused on what you're reading. It's not breezy. You're really taking in a lot of different information. So it can be academic, but it's still on the accessible academic side. I'll say that. And of course, it just has what I love so much are the notes. And yeah, the notes are where you're gonna pick up on the works. Yes, so the notes is where you'll find all the different bibliography resources here. But I'll tell you real quick about this book, and it's so cool. It's green, as it should be. But let's take a look at this. Crushed by the Romans in the 1st century AD. I'm changing it from CE to AD. So, Crushed by the Romans in the 1st century AD, the ancient Druids of Britain left almost no reliable evidence behind. Ronald Hutton's captivating book is the first to explore the evolution of English, Scottish, and Welsh attitudes towards these forever ambiguous figures of the ancient Celtic world. Sparkling with legends and filled with new perspectives on ancient and modern times, this book is a fascinating cultural study of Druids throughout British history. And there you have it. So, again, I'm just in the beginning pages, 30 or so pages in. There's a lot to keep track of in here, but I think it's worth having this and digging into it when time allows. And you can kind of, you don't want to leave it sit for too long. So I need to get back into it just so I can keep everything I've absorbed so far front of mind. So, yeah, we've got Blood and Mistletoe. Okay, these are a couple books I picked up, I think used a while ago. I was trying to, this was back when we lived at the old place. I was trying to build up my Irish history library. And so I started looking around, and I didn't get this stamp sticker off. But anyway, I found some of these used on thrift books. And these are this is by the same author. This is by Carmel McCaffrey. The first one I have is In Search of Ancient Ireland, The Origins of the Irish from Neolithic Times to the Coming of the English. This one has a co-author, Carmel McCaffrey and Leo Éirinn. So yeah, I bought this used secondhand. This is from Ivan R.D. Publisher in Chicago. In this book, I think this might be a good place to start if you're interested in learning a little bit about, obviously the ancient history of Ireland before we get into some of the modern times and modern Irish men and women, which I'll be moving into. So we'll start with the ancient. It says here this book, this engaging book, traces the history, archaeology, and legends of ancient Ireland from 9000 BC, when nomadic hunter-gatherers appeared in Ireland at the end of the last ice age, to 1167 AD, when a Norman invasion brought the country under control of the English crown for the first time. So much of what people today accept as ancient Irish history is myth and legend with little basis in reality. As the authors show, the truth is more interesting. They visit and describe many of the historic places and festivals described in the book, talking to historians, scholars, poets, and storytellers in the very settings where history happened. Thus, the book is also a journey on the ground to uncover 10,000 years of Irish identity. Oh, and did I not know this? This is a companion book to the 3-part PBS documentary series. We're going to have to look that up. See if that's on YouTube. In Search of Ancient Ireland. Okay, so this is the companion to the PBS doc. Fantastic. Looks good to me. Cult of Patrick. There it is. There he is. St. Patrick, patron saint of the Irish. Oh, yeah. The Irish snatched the young Patrick into slavery. Oh, yeah, here you have it. Okay. Patrick was British. He was stolen. The taking of a young boy from his British home for slavery in Ireland. The 16-year-old boy was called Patrick. He was captured and taken across the Irish Sea and sold into slavery in Ireland. Although British in origin, Patrick was destined to become the patron saint of the Irish. His name would forevermore be associated with the country. Oh, look at this. Yet the symbol of Patrick, the single-handed converter of the Irish to Christianity, is as much an invention as anything else. Great stories, miracles, and legends have been fabricated and woven around his life. Yes, he did exist, and 2 documents that have survived from him tell us much about his early life. But it was actually sometime after his death that he became the legend we know today, which usually is the case with any type of, saint or anyone who, let's face it, most people get really famous after they're dead. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Either for what they did or a work that they produced. I'm thinking of like Herman Melville. Never saw that Moby Dick became like the ultimate American novel. The poor guy, you know, died thinking it was a horrible failure. So yeah, anyway, so this is fascinating. I might just jump in and read this chapter right now. It's very readable, very approachable, kind of takes you through in a, like, have a chronology with like different headers. He's snatched into slavery, his writings, the Christian boy and the Druids, and it goes, he escapes from captivity, he remembers the Irish, he returns to Ireland. It's fascinating. Yeah, I might just read that chapter today in honor. And then the next book I have by Carmel McCaffrey is In Search of Ireland's Heroes, the story of the Irish from the English invasion to the present day. So I think this is the second. This one follows this book. And I'm sure, I had no idea. Carmel McCaffrey is a lady. I thought that was Carmel. I don't know why I assume that was a man. Who knows? It says here, the struggle between English and Irish aspirations for Ireland began with the first English incursions into the country in the 12th century and have persisted to the present day. Now, this book was, so when this came out, it was 2006. Carmel McCaffrey's narrative history of these times is filled with powerful personalities and families who fought in battle and through constitutional means to free Ireland from England and from English control. Her book is an engaging sequel to In Search of Ancient Ireland, which traced the history, archaeology, and legends of ancient Ireland from 9000 BC to the Norman invasion. So this book says, with an extensive use of original sources, letters, personal accounts, and parliamentary documents, McCaffrey brings the Irish leaders to life and tells their story. We meet the intrepid O'Neills, the colorful O'Donnells, the wily Fitzgeralds, and many others whose passion for freedom and for Ireland could not be conquered. In sorting out a complex history, the author retains the richness of these many fascinating but often tragic individual stories. The Irish, as Ms. McCaffrey recounts, struggled over many generations to hold on to ancient lands, only to lose their fight in the Elizabethan Wars. In the early 1600s, the ancient Irish Brehon, B-R-E-H-O-N, Brehon laws were extinguished, and it seemed as if the Gaelic past had been washed from memory. Yet the story of Irish determination did not end there. Other generations took up the effort to establish an Irish parliament free of English control, which would answer the needs of all citizens. So, this looks great. I don't know why I haven't gotten to this sooner. Well, I know why. I'm kind of working two jobs. I'm super busy. I'm so sorry, guys. I wish I could say I've read every single thing behind my head right now, and the books that come across my desk. But the whole point of me having a library is like I pick out the books that I want to have in my possession so that when I want to read them, I just walk up in the comfort of my home in my slippers with my cup of tea, London fog or not, and I say, now I'm ready. And that's why I have the library I do. You know, I love it. So this looks really good. I'm trying to read the majority of a novel on the Cold War today, but I'd like to dip into these later this evening when we are settling down to have a meal and raise a glass to Ireland and to all those who have gone before. Yeah, I think it's appropriate. But anyway, if you are looking for some books and you just want to get a very approachable, very accessible history, Ancient Ireland up to present day, these two books by Carmel McCaffrey, I think you can't go wrong with them. From what I've already read and looked through here before making this video, it's very engaging. It's very easy to read. It's, that other book that I was showing you on the Druids, that's definitely more dense and academic, but this is great general history right here. So I would highly encourage you to check out Carmel McCaffrey maybe at your library, or you'll find something, at your used bookstore. Okay. So then we have an interesting assortment. These are 4 other books that, well, one of them I have kind of I've already begun it, but I haven't finished. But I'm aware of the man just because I'm very steeped in Civil War history, especially all the Union officers and generals. And I'm going to just hang on a second. Okay, I just opened a seltzer, and so I muted the microphone. I hope you didn't hear that crack of the can. Sorry, I'm just very, very hoarse today. But anyway, this is about Thomas Mehr. For the longest time, I was pronouncing it wrong. You think I would know better. Can you guess who this is? The Immortal Irishman. It's Thomas. I thought it was Meager. It's Mayer. That's what Martine said. And I think I read that in a book review too, somewhere else, that it's pronounced that way. And yes, he was an interesting man. Let me see if it gives you tells you how to pronounce his name in the dust jacket. But anyway, this is I wanted to kind of just show like a Civil War history book. If you wanted something that kind of tangentially hits on that. Also, I think I have a book somewhere too on the Fighting Irish. Not Notre Dame football. Boo. No. There was an all-Irish Union regiment. Right. Yes, I have that. I'm sorry. I'm talking to myself. I don't know what I'm doing. But I have a really some good history on the Irish fighting regiments for the Union. But they weren't near to hand. But this is the Immortal Irishman, the Irish revolutionary who became an American hero, by Timothy Egan. And this was a National Book Award winner. And that is our fair gentleman right here. He had a very interesting life and kind of mysterious towards the end there. But then this came out by Houghton Mifflin Harcourt. And Timothy Egan. He wrote The Worst Hard Time. That sounds very familiar to me. In another book called The Big Burn. But anyway, let's see here. This book came out in 2016. And I think let me read the dust jacket to you real quick. A dashing young orator during Ireland's Great Hunger of the 1840s, in which 1 million of his countrymen died, Thomas Francis Mehr helped lead a failed uprising against British rule. Banished to a Tasmanian prison colony for life, he was heralded 6 months later in the streets of New York, the revolutionary hero, back from the dead, instantly the most famous Irishman in America. And considered to the time, the Irish were hated at that time, especially in New York. It was so racist against the Irish. But, okay, it says here, Timothy Egan's rich and stirring saga of Mehr's rebirth in America includes his stand against the anti-immigrant Know-Nothing Party, his leadership of the newly formed, Irish Brigade, that's what I'm talking about, the newly formed Irish Brigade from New York, and some of the fiercest battles of the Civil War, Bull Run, Antietam, Fredericksburg. And this book lends an extraordinary new window onto this history. Twice shot from his horse while leading charges, left for dead in the Virginia mud, Mehr fought heroically while holding fast to his dream that Irish-American troops, seasoned by war, would return to Ireland and liberate it from British rule. Wow, what if that had happened? What if that had happened? Oh my gosh. Mehr's last chapter as territorial governor of Montana was a romantic quest for a true home in the far frontier. Barely settled in his modest log cabin with his wife Libby, a New York heiress who had forsaken her family to be by his side because she fell in love with those blue eyes, baby. Look at that guy, Mr. Handsome Irishman. The Irish people are a very handsome race, both men and women. See, I speak from experience. Being silly. Okay. So, yes. So, his wife, Libby, she had forsaken her family to be by his side. Mayer took his final stand against oppression. This time, the enemy was a vicious vigilante gang. His death at age 43 has long been a mystery, to which Éirinn brings conclusive new evidence. Yeah, I got to finish this so I can find out. Got great reviews, and obviously it won the. Oh wait, the National Book Award. Was this the one that won the National Book Award? No, it was The Worst Hard Time. So they're saying Timothy Éirinn is the National Book Award winner, not this book. But we know that this is a standout book because it's highly blurbed, and yeah. I love biographies like this, and it's just kind of wide-ranging and has a little bit of, eccentricity to it, a little bit of mystery. The Trader of Tasmania. This is Mayer's cottage at Lake Sorrel in the penal colony of Van Diemen's Land, drawn by fellow exile John Mitchell. Lonely adrift, feeling that life had passed him by, Mayer spent long years in solitude in the upper reaches of Tasmania. Look at that sketch there. Wow. So yeah, this could be a great book for you if you're considering you want to read a little Civil War kind of thing, but also kind of tap into the issues of the day for Irish Americans. And this guy was definitely a patriot and wanted to take it back and stick it to the English. Sorry, you go, Thomas Mayer. Yeah, The Immortal Irishman, Timothy Éirinn. I would definitely get that one on your TBR. All right. So along that line as well, this is a book I have not begun yet, but I got recently from New York University Press. Again, love my university presses. I'm always looking for new history, especially history like Civil War titles from many different presses that I really enjoy, such as University of North Carolina Press. What was the other? Oh, LSU Press. Fantastic titles. Lots of great Civil War scholarship coming out of those two, for sure. But also, New York University Press came out with this book a few years ago. Was that a few years ago? A few years ago. And it kind of goes on with the theme of, like, Irish Americanism, and it's called America and the Making of an Independent Ireland, A History by Francis M. Carroll. It's not too big of a book. It's about 200 but it has a couple of appendices, so it's about a 200-page read. But I'll tell you what this is about. On Easter Monday of 1916, more than 1,000 Irishmen stormed Dublin city centre, seizing the General Post Office building and proclaiming an independent Irish republic. The British declared martial law shortly afterward, and the rebellion was violently quashed by the military. In a 10-day period after the event, 14 leaders of the uprising were executed by firing squad. In New York, news of the uprising spread quickly among the substantial Irish American population. There was little initial sympathy with the rebels, as the press emphasized the German involvement in the rising, but news of the draconian British response galvanized Irish American support for the nationalist cause. Okay, so for some reason I thought this was a kind of wedded around the Civil War time frame, but it's not. It's a World War I. But it kind of moves seamlessly. If you tackle the Immortal Irishman and then you move into this book, it kind of takes you through several decades worth of life through Irish American eyes, especially in the New York area. Okay, so where was I in this? America and the Making of an Independent Ireland centers on the diplomatic relationship between Ireland and the U.S. from the rising of 1916 until the early years of Irish independence. Francis Carroll chronicles how Irish Americans responded to the movement for Irish independence by pressuring the U.S. government to intervene on the side of the Irish nationalists. Carroll's in-depth analysis demonstrates that Irish Americans raised funds after World War I for the I don't know how to pronounce this. Martine, I need you. The Éirinn government. Okay, I apologize for not pronouncing that correctly. Okay. For the Éirinn government and for war relief and shaped public opinion in favor of an independent nation. This book illustrates how the U.S. government was the first power to extend diplomatic recognition, to Ireland and welcome it into the international community. Yeah, see, America, we did good on that one. Ultimately, Carroll argues that the existence of the state of Ireland depended on considerable effort and intervention by Irish Americans and the American public at large. That's fabulous. Yes, and we're flying the Irish flag out front. We got the green, orange, and white in there, and it's flying, and we're going to be flying that through March. So, and actually, I think we might even install another flag holder. We have 2 pillars in the front porch. So it makes, and I've seen a lot of other people here in this in the neighborhood that have 2 flags up. So I think it would make sense. We can have American flag and the Irish flag. It's perfect. So check out America and the Making of an Independent Ireland. It came out in 2021. Francis Carroll. It's a history from New York University Press. Good stuff. For your consideration, this book came. I have this in hardcover. I don't know if Martine would want to read this one or not. I'll see. If she doesn't, I have an extra copy. So let me know if anyone might be interested in this. I'm so bad about getting to the post office, guys. But I would make an effort. I would make an effort to send this off to a good home. Yeah, so it came out in paperback recently. I have the finished hardcover. It came out in 2021. And this one is about modern Ireland. It's by Fintan O'Toole. We Don't Know Ourselves. A Personal History of Modern Ireland. My hardcover doesn't have the blurb on the front. So, but this says, like reading a great tragicomic Irish novel. James Wood, The New Yorker. Hailed as astonishing and as a landmark history. And landmark history is from Claire Massoud, Harper's Magazine. I'm actually signed up to be reading a galley of her upcoming. She has a new novel coming out that sounds really good. So I'll actually be reading her work soon. Claire Massoud. Neat. So it hailed as astonishing and as a landmark history, We Don't Know Ourselves is the widely lauded magnum opus of one of the Anglophone world's most significant writers and public intellectuals. Weaving his own experience as a son of working-class Dublin into Irish social, cultural, and economic change, Fintan O'Toole tells the remarkable story of how Ireland, in just one lifetime, went from a conservative Catholic backwater to a globalized nation. The result is a sweeping, authoritative, and profoundly intelligent, and that is from Colm Toibin. I know I'm pronouncing it wrong, but we've all heard of Colm Toibin, right? He says it's sweeping, authoritative, and profoundly intelligent. And this book should endure for years as a defining account not only of Ireland but of modernity itself. So yeah, I have it. It's actually, where is it? I got it right over there, right over here on the shelf. Where am I pointing? Right there. So I have an extra copy, but I'll see if Martine wants to read it. But if not, let me know in the comments below if this tickles your fancy feast. All right. So I have one more book, which is perfect because we're at 50 minutes, another really long video. But we had a lot of things to show you. I was sharing things from Martine's office and library, and we have a lot more here that we could go into, but it would take hours and hours. But anyway, so this is a book I picked up used a while ago. I've heard that it was a classic. I forget where I picked it up. It might have been thrift books or probably third-party Amazon, but this is R.F. Foster's Modern Ireland, 1600s to 1972. Really beautiful artwork on the cover. It's got the Mylar cover, so it's going to produce a big glare on those lights. But it's a really sturdy edition I picked up. Well, who was the publisher on this one? I don't recognize the logo. It says Allen Lane, the Penguin. Okay, the Penguin Press. But the Penguin Press now has a new logo. Oh, here we go. Now we have a map I can show you. Yes, so to bring it full circle to the book we first showed, Martine's family, the O'Keeffes, hail from Cork and Kerry. Okay? Cork and Kerry. My grandmother's side, so my maternal grandmother is Irish. And her family name stems from Donegal, the Donegal area. You know, this is just reminding me, I want to sign up for, I need to get going on my genealogical research before I'm dead. I I really want to find out trace my roots as far back as I can. I think a couple of you recommended some of those services. I know that there's Ancestry.com, but there's also another one. I don't know if I want to do a DNA thing. That kind of creeps me out about someone having your DNA on file. But at the same time, I kind of want to find out about my German side. Because my dad is like, my grandfather was born in Germany. And he was immigrated to America. He was an infant at the time. But I'm wondering too, just with the spelling of my last name, which was altered at Ellis Island, it still looks a little Polish. But my dad's like, no, and the W should be pronounced with a V sound, which of course I get in German. It should be Kirkowski instead of Kirkowski. But I think at the time they're like, at Ellis Island, they were told, my grandfather's family, his parents were told, you'll trust us. Let's change the I to a Y. Sorry, a Y to an I. People will look more favorably on this. I think, because this was like in light of World War I. Like, he's like, you'll be better off here if your last name looks Polish than German. So see how things change when people immigrated to Ellis Island and people just wantonly changed names and spellings. So crazy. But I'm really interested in finding out my roots, and especially knowing that my grandmother's maiden name traces back to Donegal, the north of Ireland, and Martine's family comes from the south. It's like north and south. It's a north and south love story. Anyway, what can I say about this book? It's a survey. Came out in 1988. And this survey begins in 1600 with the end of the Elizabethan Wars and the establishment of the Ulster Plantation, and ends in 1972, the year in which the Republic joined the EEC and the Stormont Parliament in Northern Ireland was suspended. Social, cultural, and economic factors are given as much prominence as politics, and there are thematic chapters on such topics as immigration, colonization, and ascendancy culture. While the relationship with England is an important element of this account, it is by no means dominant. The development of Irishness is analyzed through an exploration of the indigenous nature of Irish Catholicism, changes in popular culture, traditions of rural resistance and alternative political economies, alterations in farming practice, the development of confessional identifications in nearly every area of Irish life, and the mobilization of popular politics. This is fascinating. The special nature of Ulster's development is established early on, but it is continuously related to events in the rest of the island. Throughout, the focus is as much on the provinces as on Dublin. All right. It says here, besides throwing light on an extraordinary wide range of issues, this book offers an important general statement on Irish history. It is indispensable to anyone interested in the subject. So, big old survey on modern Ireland by R.F. Foster, and we're gonna end on that note. Sorry for the long video, but there was a lot to go over. And then I was remembering too, I have recently read and reviewed some very recent history, Irish history that I'm trying to remember the name of it, but either way, we're going long. But I read a book recently and reviewed it for Shelf Awareness, relating to the IRA and Margaret Thatcher. I can't recall the title just now, but that's, if you search using my name and Shelf Awareness, you'll see a whole list of all the books I've reviewed for them. And then I had also, for shelf awareness, I was reviewing a book about a guy who actually was in the IRA. So that was, wow, that was kind of a difficult read. It's fascinating stuff. Ireland, rich history, beautiful land, beautiful people, just so rich and steeped in lore and legend and faith and just a heartiness, a heartiness and a good dose of humor and sarcasm, because in this life you got to have that to get by. And with that note, I just want to give out my love to my favorite Irish person in the world, Martine O'Keefe. You are a blessing to me, sent from God. And I thank you so much for going on this journey with me. So I'm dedicating this video to you and also to your family and to your cousin. And, may he rest in peace. And I just want to end there. And I just pray that all of you would just love each other and just love the differences, love everyone's just where they come from, celebrate different cultures and appreciate what everyone brings to life and to each of us. So I'm so grateful for all of the Irishness that I've learned over the years from my grandparents, but also from Martine. So on that note, that gushy note, I will end here. Thanks so much for joining me. Have a happy St. Patrick's Day, everybody. Stay safe out there and be well. God's blessings. Bye-bye.